This is The Point, news from noise, daily market call presented by Kattan Ferretti Financial. I'm your CEO, Brad Roth, and I look forward to having a daily discussion with you over the topics that we present in this note every single morning. So without further ado, The Point. All right, and good morning. Welcome to The Point. Cameron, we cannot say that there is a lack of news today, can we?
No, we cannot.
Why don't you hit us with it?
Stocks are trading lower this morning with the Dow, S&P, and NASDAQ all in the red after seeing mixed results the day before. Crude oil jumped back towards $46 before U.S. government data reported today is forecast to confirm that supplies have fallen. The Fed's meeting minutes were reported yesterday, which displayed a lack of consensus about when to shrink the $4.5 trillion balance sheet and how to approach policy strategy in a time of low inflation. Much more data is to be reported today, highlighted by the ADP employment report, jobless claims, and international trade, all to be released at 8:30 or sooner. The ADP employment report is unlikely to sustain the recent pace of growth, with expectations of 185,000 new private jobs in June, which is down from 253,000 in May. Tomorrow features the beginning of the G20 summit and also the report of the Labor Department's official jobs figures, which is projected to display a solid labor market. Index fund evangelist Burton Malkiel, author of the book A Random Walk Down Wall Street, has had a change of heart. A starter of the first passive index fund, he's beginning to believe that sophisticated algorithmic trading is able to beat the market in today's technology-filled world. European markets nervously slumped, with the Stoxx 600 index falling nearly 1%, while government bonds slipped in the wake of a disappointing French debt sale. The big news to be released today comes from the European Central Bank's minutes. They may provide clues on whether the bank is closer to tightening policy. Deutsche Bank is preparing to move large parts of its trading and investment banking assets that it currently holds in London to its hometown of Frankfurt in response to the Brexit. And European Union leaders endorsed a free trade agreement with the Japanese Prime Minister that would eliminate 99% of tariffs between the two partners, expand markets for services and public procurement, and bolster regulatory cooperation. President Trump is claiming pretty severe things for North Korea after their launch of an intercontinental missile as he looks for more help from China. Japan's Topix index dropped 0.1%, while the yen held steady after most Asian markets saw a dip yesterday. The South Korean won dropped 0.6% to its lowest level since March, while India's Sensex was up 0.5% as it's poised for a record close. Airbus received $22 billion in orders from China while in talks to sell more super jumbos, as the Asian nation is set to become the world's largest aviation market. In Samsung, Alibaba, and a few others accounted for 32% of total gains in the MSCI Emerging Markets Index this year, as investors are concerned that they're developing a similar outsized influence of the FANG stocks we have here in the United States. So, Brad, what do you see going on here with North Korea?
Yeah, I think at first glance, when people wake up and look at futures this morning, which are taking kind of a hit, they're going to think North Korea and everything that's going on at their latest launch. United States and Donald Trump saying that they're going to have severe consequences. But, we've heard this before, right? We've seen this before. And, the sanctions that they've put on them have come in a piecemeal fashion. And I think we'll get more out of the G20 summit coming up here this week. But that's not really what's moving markets this morning. What is moving markets this morning, however, are German 10-year bond yields touching 0.5%, even though that's an extremely low yield. That's the first time since January 2016. I think there's two pieces to that. I think it's a preparation for the ECB, European Central Bank minutes that are going to be coming out today, but also there was a major drop in demand for French 30-year debt, which ballooned those German bond yields. So, just as a quick homework refresher, every time bond yields start to rip up, the price of stocks generally are affected in the opposite direction. So we're going to keep an eye on that. But the market movers today are very simple. It's to focus on the ECB meeting, private jobs data here in the U.S. They're still kind of digesting, the lack of consensus about when to shrink the central bank's balance sheet. But I think we're going to learn a little bit more with a couple speakers on how they're going to approach policy strategy in a time of low inflation. So that's all I've got over here. But Cameron, it seems like a really slow week in sports again. But you've wrote this cool little article here on Freakonomics Radio, What's Wrong with Cash for Grades. I didn't get a chance to read it, but you want to give me a snapshot?
Yeah, I thought it was a pretty interesting piece, offering, either financial or non-financial incentives to children in school, whether it be elementary school or high school kids, and how that would actually impact their grades. And, studies show that even just like very minor financial incentives, such as like $20 or something, will actually improve their grades. It's a very interesting idea. People are considering it, but I don't think it's anything anyone's going to do because people obviously say that, that's giving them the wrong motivation to do their schoolwork. But I think it's an interesting theory. I don't really see anything wrong with parents doing it. But the incentive should already be there, because you do well in school, you get into better schools, you get better jobs, and then that's where your real incentives are. But I don't know. It's pretty interesting thought. It's only a short podcast. You should give it a listen.
Yeah, I'll have to give that a listen. And I think it's an interesting concept to be even more interesting if you promise them Instagram likes over cash. Some of them might value that more than actual money.
That's true.
Days, but I joke, kind of. All right, Cam, this is The Point for Thursday, July 6th. We'll see you all tomorrow.